Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I'm filming in a different location today, and that's because my son is actually home from school this week. It's spring break, so I just wanted to kind of sit here on the living room floor, keep an eye on him a little bit, and try to keep him entertained as much as I can in between answering questions. And I thought I would just keep it really casual and just chat about YouTube today, because I always get so many questions about starting a YouTube channel and building a YouTube channel and how much money you could make, how do you get PR. There's so many that I get on a daily basis, and I thought it'd be fun to just compile all the questions I get from here on YouTube as well as on Instagram and just put it all into one big video and hopefully answer all your questions. And my goal today is just to be as honest and transparent as I possibly can be and answer those questions that everybody wants to know that not a lot of people want to share. And I do not blame them for not wanting to share some of these things, especially like when it comes to money. I know, like, for some people, obviously for a lot of people, you don't want to share your income, but for me right now, this is still just a hobby. It's not like my main source of income. It's not my household income, so I really don't mind sharing it with you guys. And I do think it would be helpful for you, because if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, it's really good information to have, and actually how you can make money on YouTube and the different ways that you can make money. And I'm still a relatively small channel, but I also do have one viral video that has almost 3 million views. So I'll really be able to give you both ends of the spectrum, both, what a really small channel can make and also what really large channels with millions of views can make. So you'll see both sides of it. All right, so let's go ahead and just jump right into the first question, which is, what made you want to start a YouTube channel? And I would say what made me want to start, it was kind of complicated actually, because I said I was never ever going to be on YouTube. I'm a really shy, introverted person in real life. I'm really shy in social situations where I don't know anybody. People who know me in my real life, I'll talk their ear off, but when I don't know people, I'm really, really shy. And the thought of putting myself on camera for the world to see was a little bit intimidating. So I always said I was never going to start a YouTube channel. So back in 2009, I actually started a blog because nobody in my regular life was as into makeup and beauty products as I was. So I just kind of started it as a creative outlet and just a way to share my love of beauty products with other people who felt the same way. And my blog was budgetbeautyblog.com, and it was mainly drugstore focused. At the time, I really couldn't afford to buy any high-end makeup at all. I could barely afford to buy drugstore makeup. I was really in debt at the time, didn't have a lot of extra spending money. So I kind of had to be creative when thinking about post ideas and things like that. I was reviewing a lot of makeup that I already had, or I would go out and buy one lipstick in one color and review that. And then I started running around to all the different drugstores every single day after work, and I would take pictures of new displays and then just do a whole post about the new stuff without actually having to buy anything. So I had to be really creative until I started making money with it, and that probably didn't happen until I would say 2 years in, because I think blogs are really, really hard to find, or for people to find. Once you start a new website, it gets buried on page 40 or 50 of Google. So if people are looking for a review on let's say a L'Oreal lipstick, the most popular blogs and websites talking about that product are going to be on the first several pages, and then yours is going to be way back here, and probably not a lot of people are going to click on it or find it. So it took me many years just to build up a small following with my blog. And then once I did that, I would say I was pulling in maybe $200 a month, I would say, at the very height of it. And that was just from the Google AdSense, the ads on the sides of the blog. I wasn't doing really sponsored posts or anything at that point. I really didn't have a large enough following to do that. But that $200 a month really helped me to be able to afford to buy more products. So I was really just using that money I earned to put right back into it again. I wasn't spending it on bills or anything. So I had the Budget Beauty blog until 2017, when I switched it to Beaudiction. And the reason that I changed the name was just because I didn't want to only talk about drugstore products anymore. At that point in my life, I was earning more money with my job, I had more spending money, and I was able to buy a few high-end things here and there. And I would always get comments from people this is supposed to be the Budget Beauty blog, why are you talking about Too Faced or Tarte or whatever it was? And so I decided to just change it to an all-encompassing name, but still keep my focus mainly mainly on drugstore, and I think I've done that even into my YouTube channel for the most part. And then somewhere in the middle, I would say 2015, 2016, I started my Instagram page as well, and I really got into Instagram for a while. I felt like it was a lot easier to build a following on Instagram than it was a blog, just because, you know, when you put a hashtag out there, people can find it a lot easier than they can find a website in Google. So I kind of started focusing more on Instagram and really growing that page, and it grew really, really quickly. In 2 years, I got 100,000 followers on Instagram, so I was really proud of that. And I mainly just used Instagram as a mini blog. I would post reviews on there. I would post photos of new makeup displays in the stores like I was on my blog. I started doing a lot of swatches and stencil swatches, and I think that's what made it really take off, because people really enjoyed seeing the stencil swatches. That was a big hot trend for a long time there. So building my Instagram page was a ton of fun, but I didn't still feel like it was my main platform, because it's like a condensed version. You're only posting a picture or two and a little blurb underneath. It wasn't like I could get super in-depth with reviews and things like that. Plus, I felt like, you know, wasn't ever going to make me a lot of money unless I was willing to do sponsored content, because Instagram doesn't have ads where they share revenue with you like Google AdSense on blogs and on YouTube. So I basically just had my blog as a source of income for the most part, and Instagram was just more of a fun thing that I was doing. But then somewhere around like 2017, I noticed my blog readership really start to decline sharply. And when I asked people on Instagram about it, and also on my blog itself, a lot of people were just saying, you know, we don't really read blogs anymore. We watch YouTube now. It's, you know, and YouTube's been around a long time, but it's really taken off a lot more and kind of taken the place of blogs. So I kind of felt like, you know, I don't think I can really grow my blog anymore. I felt like it wasn't going anywhere. It was kind of a dead end for me. I never made any more money from it. I was still kind of at that like $200 a month range. So, you know, then I was talking to my husband, and he was like, just do YouTube. What's the big deal? Just try it, you know? And I was so scared to do it. And I felt like I don't have the technical know-how. I didn't have the right equipment. He was like, just use your phone. Just, you know, start out, just do it. So I ended up trying out a video actually in my kitchen. I used to film right in front of the big bay window there. I didn't have any special lighting. I used my cell phone, and it worked out okay. I felt like actually once I got over kind of the weirdness of talking to a camera, I really started to enjoy it a lot and have a good time, and I got more comfortable as time went on, and I learned a lot of things along the way, which I am going to share with you in this video. So anyway, just feeling like my blog had nowhere else to go was the push I think I needed to go into YouTube and to really, you know, think about, did I want to make this a career or not? Because otherwise I was just going to go back to, you know, working a regular 9-to-5 job like I had before. That was kind of always the plan, that once my son was in school full time, I would go back to work doing something. And I just felt like, you know what, I want to do this. Like, I want to be in this for good. So YouTube just seemed like the next logical step. I just had to kind of get over myself and do it, and here we are. So question number 2 is, how did I build up my audience, and how long did it take to reach 10K, 20K, and 30K subscribers? All right, so this question, I feel like it's going to be different for me than for a lot of people, because I didn't start out my YouTube channel just from scratch. I already had a built-in audience from my blog and also from Instagram. So I was able to promote my new YouTube channel and get a couple thousand subscribers within the first few months. I started my channel in the fall of 2017 in October, and by the end of the year, just 3 months later, I already had like 3,000 subscribers. So you know, and obviously I have a lot more on Instagram. I have 150 something thousand over there. So you know, I wasn't expecting that all of them were going to come to my YouTube channel, just because I think Instagram is totally different, and people who are on Instagram are usually just looking for some quick information. They maybe don't have time to sit and watch videos. So I got a lot of responses from people just like, you know, that's great that you have a channel, but I don't really watch YouTube. But I did definitely get a lot of people coming from my Instagram over to YouTube. So I think I was really, really lucky in that way, that I had already built up that following over the years and was able to just kind of grab some of them and bring them over to my YouTube channel. A lot of people don't don't have that luxury and have to start from scratch. So that was definitely, I think, a good boost in the beginning. And then as far as how long it took me to reach the milestones, I have it written down here. I hit 10K on April 8th of 2018, so that was 6 months in. And then I hit 20K on September 1st of 2018, so that was 11 months after starting my channel. And then I hit 30K on December 18th of 2018, and that was 14 months later. So it took me 6 months to get the first 10K, and then it took 5 months to get the additional 10K, and then the last 10K, it only took 3 months, which was really, really quick. So now it's been about 4 months since I hit my last milestone, which was 30K, so I'm probably gonna hit 40K in the next few weeks here. So I would say this time it took about like 4.5 months or so to reach that next 10K subscribers. But in addition to having the built-in audience, I would say other ways that I was able to grow my channel is just trying to stay on top of what's popular and trying to put out those videos before everybody else does. It's really difficult sometimes, but I always try to think about what are people looking for, what are they searching for, and if you don't have a lot of competition with those keywords, like let's say for example, Makeup Revolution comes out with some new palettes and nobody's really talking about them yet. If I get my hands on them and put up a video really quickly, then people searching for those products, let's say they don't have a lot of different results to scroll through because YouTube is going to put the big YouTubers and the ones with a lot of views normally near the top of those search results, and then everybody else is kind of below. So I really want to be able to get to the top of the search results if I can, and the best way to do that when you're a small channel is to be like the first one to review something. And sometimes that can be really hard, especially if you're not on somebody's PR list. A lot of times the bigger YouTubers will get the products first and then they do the videos first, and then it's kind of like, what's the point after that? So it's really frustrating in that way. But if you can get your hands on something before everybody else, that's a really good way to do it. Another way that I gained subscribers along the way was just from other YouTubers who happened to see my videos or watch my channel mentioning me on their channels. So Marnie, Miss Gold Girl, had recommended me in a couple of her videos. Lip Gloss Leslie mentioned me a few times. Kaylee Bout. I also did a collab with another YouTuber, Katie Marie. You guys might remember that from a few months ago. So those were ways that just organically my channel grew because those people had, found my channel and mentioned a video that I did or maybe recommended me as a YouTuber that they watched. So that was really exciting. Every time that happened, usually my numbers would shoot up a little bit. All right, so the next question is, how often do you get noticed in person? Not very often, I would say, but I'm still pretty small. I did get noticed one night when we were out to dinner and there was a family behind us. It was like a mom, a dad, and kids, and when they were leaving, the mom came up to me and she's like, I don't want to bother you, but I love your Instagram and your YouTube. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. It was like, what? And then a few months later, I saw her online at Sephora at our local mall, so that was really fun. And there has been a few other times when somebody would like send me a DM on Instagram and be like, hey, were you at the mall earlier today? And I'll say, yes, why? And they'll say, well, I saw you coming out of Ulta, or I saw you coming out of Old Navy, or whatever. And I'm like, why didn't you say hi? A lot of people, I feel like, don't want to necessarily approach me, but I would love it. So if you guys see me out and about, don't be shy, just come right over because I'm more shy than you probably. So yeah, but that's really fun when that happens. Like I said, it doesn't happen a lot, but every once in a while. All right, so next question is, how much do I make on YouTube? Now, this is the big one. Everybody wants to know this. So my very first paycheck from YouTube came in February of 2018. And like I said, I started my channel in the fall of 2017. So it took like about 5 months, I would say, to get my first paycheck. You have to earn a minimum of $100 before YouTube will pay you. So that paycheck was for $200, I believe. So I finally hit that threshold and then crossed it. So my first check was $200 and change, and I was really, really excited to start making money. And every month since then, I did make something. And just to be clear right off the start, when I talk about earning money, I'm not talking about affiliate links. I'm not talking about sponsored videos, which I've actually only done one in the whole history of my YouTube channel, and I'm not allowed to mention what that brand paid me. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm mainly just going to talk about the ad revenue. So YouTube, every time you watch a YouTube video, they play a little ad beforehand. Sometimes they put them in the middle of the video if it's extra long. And I believe they split the revenue with us. I don't know if it's 50-50 or 60-40, but they definitely give us a significant portion of the ad revenue. It's normally a few cents for every view of the video, and if the person skips the ad, I think we get a little bit less. We still get something, but not as much as if they watch the whole ad all the way through. But normally, one view of the video, I might make like 1 or 2 cents or something like that, depending on who the advertiser is. So basically that's how we make our money. It's by views. It's not by how many subscribers we have. You could have a really small subscriber base and a video with a ton of views and make a ton of money off that one video, which you will see here because I do have one video like that. So that one video that I'm talking about is my eyeshadow palette collection video, and I filmed that in February of 2018, and it didn't take off at first, but it started growing, and then all of a sudden YouTube started recommending it as like a recommended video, and before long it had almost 1 million views, and I could not believe it. And every month my paycheck was like getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I want to say it was July or August, I actually got like a $5,000 paycheck or something from YouTube for that month, and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. It was just really from that one video. So I'm just gonna quickly show you a screenshot from YouTube. This is my 2018 earnings, and you'll see that in 2018 I earned $23,008.19, but if you look down from there, you can see that $19,392 of that was from that one video. So without that video, I only earned $3,615 from the rest of them. So if I didn't have that video, I would have made $3,600 for the entire year. That one eyeshadow palette video made up 84% of my earnings for that year. So a smaller channel like mine is likely not making more than a few $1,000s a year depending on their views. If they have some videos with really high views, they might make more than that. If their views are lower, they'll make less than that. But that just goes to show you, like, that video has 2.8 million views right now, how much people who get a few million views per video must be making, because if that one video made $19,000 last year, multiply that by having many, many videos that are over 1 million or over 2 million or more views, it's insane. I can't even imagine making that much money, but some people do on YouTube. It's amazing. So now going into this year, we're only 4 months into the year, but so far this year I've made $3,685.77, and only 24% of that is that eyeshadow palette video. So my other videos are actually starting to catch up. They're starting to get more views for each video, and I am starting to make a little bit more than I was before. So I think, you know, even without that eyeshadow palette video now, that, you know, it's not getting as many views as it used to back in the day, so it's probably never going to make that much money again, but it is still making, as you can see, a pretty significant, like, a quarter of my income is still from that one video. So again, it's completely luck of the draw whether or not a video goes viral or it doesn't, but as you can see, without the viral video, there's no way I could ever make an income that I could live off of on YouTube without getting a lot bigger. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily always matter how many subscribers you have, but having a lot of subscribers obviously translates to more video views, and then the more views you have, the more ads are seen and the more money you get. So it's all about the views basically, and I think that's one reason why you see so many clickbait titles on YouTube, because the more people they can get to click on that video, even if it's just for a few seconds. I think somebody only has to watch a video for like 5 seconds before it counts as a view for you. So to get as many views as they possibly can, they just want people to click. They don't care if they click out afterwards or they say, you know, oh, this isn't what it was really about. Well, it's too late. You already gave them a view. So that's mainly why there's so much clickbait. And I think that unfortunately this model of trying to get views and getting paid for views is what is making people want to do that. But you know, I just try to make my thumbnails hopefully as enticing as possible without completely lying or fabricating what the actual video is about, because I can't stand when that happens. I hate clickbait, so I'm trying to never do that. But obviously, of course, I want you guys to click on videos and watch them. But I think clickbait will definitely backfire for some people in the long run, just because people get tired of it, you know, and then they're just gonna unsubscribe and not want to watch them anymore or not fall for it. So anyway, I hope that answers your question about pay. If you have any other questions related to that, definitely leave them down below. All right, so next up is how do I handle taxes? Now, that's another big one, and unfortunately, about about half of what I earn goes to taxes. Just to be safe, I basically take half of what I earn and put it in the bank to pay taxes with. And it's never 50% of my income. I just really do that to give myself a cushion and to make sure that I have enough to pay my taxes at the end of the year. And I have not turned my channel into a business account or anything like that, so I just pay taxes as an individual person. But even if I were to turn my business into like an LLC, let's say, it would still go through my personal taxes. The only way it would be a complete separate entity would be if I were to incorporate, and that's way more expensive to do, and I have to pay my taxes quarterly and take meeting notes, and there's all kinds of things involved with that. So I just do this on my regular personal individual taxes. And the other thing that I always get asked is, can I write off things on the taxes? And definitely you can. Anything that I buy and then use in a video is used for business purposes. So any makeup that I buy, I could write off at the end of the year, but I still owe a significant portion of what I earn in taxes. Like out of that $23,000 that I earned, I still owed like around between $9,000 and $10,000 in taxes. So I really didn't get to keep nearly as much of it as obviously I wanted to, but it's just the way it works. And I'm glad I had saved it in that account, because coming up with that kind of money at the end of the year would be really hard. So I highly suggest, especially if you start making a lot of money on YouTube, just take half of it and put it away for tax time, because you really don't know what you're going to end up owing at the end of the year. All right, so next question is about lighting and camera and equipment and what do I use. So first up, I will say that when I started, I think I mentioned in the beginning, I didn't use any kind of equipment at all. I used my cell phone to film on, and I didn't use any lighting. I just sat in front of a window. That's actually what I'm doing right now. I'm not using any of my lighting. I will show you my lighting setup in a second. I did take like a little video in my makeup room upstairs, but I did just start out using my cell phone, and then I ended up buying a real camera. I got a Sony a5100, which a lot of different YouTubers were using at the time. It had a little screen that flipped up, and I really thought it was a cute little camera, and I did like that one. The only downside to it was that it shuts off after about 20 minutes of filming because it overheats. So it got really annoying after a while, and I kind of stopped using it because of that reason. I do still use that one to take photos with. I think it takes amazing photos, but as a video camera, it's kind of not the best. And then my husband ended up buying me a really nice camera. He bought me a Canon 77D for my birthday, and it's a huge DSLR, like professional camera. And I ended up getting a fixed lens with it. So it's a 50mm lens. It doesn't zoom in or out. It's just at a fixed point all the time. And it gives that really beautiful blurred background effect, which I loved. And I just loved the way those videos came out. The only problem with the 50mm lens, I realized after a while though, is that it made my face look super wide. It has a very shallow depth of field, and it flattens out the picture. And I noticed in my videos that I had kind of like this really big square looking flat face, and I'm like, why do I look different in all my videos? And then I went back and kind of compared it to the videos I had taken with the Sony camera, and it was like, oh my gosh, why does my face look like this? And I did a little bit of research and found out that it was because of the shallow depth of field kind of compressing everything and widening out the picture. And I hated the way that that looked. So I thought, all right, I'm gonna have to get a new lens for this camera, because I don't, it's not worth having the blurred background if my face looks completely different than I really look in real life. So at the time, I wanted to shoot a video. I didn't have a new lens yet, and my Sony camera had a dead battery, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I ended up grabbing my cell phone, this is the Google Pixel 2. And I shot a video on my cell phone, and it actually came out awesome. And it had a really crisp, clear picture, and I didn't have to mess with any of the camera settings. Like, the lighting was all automatic. It just made everything perfectly lit and beautiful, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, and it's kind of like so easy and foolproof. So I started filming on my cell phone for a really long time. The last couple of months, all the videos you've seen were on this phone right here. Now this phone is actually dead because in Florida, for some reason, it just stopped working. So I ended up grabbing the Google Pixel 3 because I did love this one so much. Now the 3 is out, so that is actually what I'm filming on right now, and it's beautiful. This one actually shoots in 4K, so I kind of am like, I don't really need to use the Canon camera, even though I have it. I don't really use it all that much because I feel like it's just really easy on my phone. I don't have to mess with any settings. It shoots a beautiful picture. So yeah, I would say if you want to start YouTube and you have a good smartphone with a good camera, just use that. Like, why invest all that money in a fancy camera when smartphones these days film so beautifully anyway? And I'm not trying to discourage anyone from buying a camera, but I just wanted to illustrate that you can take really good video on a phone. And if you don't know if YouTube is something that you want to do long term, I would say start with your smartphone, see how you like it. If you absolutely love it, then upgrade to a camera down the road. But don't spend all that money on lighting and equipment and all that stuff if you're not positive that you're going to stick with it. So speaking of lighting and setup, I'm going to go ahead and cut to a video that I took earlier today, and I'll show you all my lighting setup, and then I'll meet you back here after. All right, guys, so here is my little corner of the room where I do all my videos, and this is my lighting setup. So I have one ring light, which I got initially, and then I have these two soft boxes, and those I think made the biggest difference in my lighting situation, because just the ring light alone, it would light me up, but not the rest of the picture in the background. So I have the soft boxes kind of pointing behind me, like at the wall and the shelving units, just because that really helps to make the picture look so much brighter, and I didn't realize what a big difference that would make. And they really weren't that expensive for the pair of them. It was probably like around $60 or $70. I'll link everything down below. I got those on Amazon. And then the ring light was the most expensive. That one was about $179, I think, but I've had it now for over a year and a half. And the first light that it came with still hasn't burned out, so I do have a spare that they gave me as well. It comes with this little holder right here that holds your cell phone, and then you can unscrew that, and it has just the little part where you can screw your camera base into it. So if you're filming with a camera, you just stick the camera right in the middle of the ring light. If you're filming with a cell phone, you can use this little device and then clip it right in, and it works perfectly. So I love this ring light. It also raises and lowers like really high. So depending on, what height you want it at, you can just raise it and lower it. And let me show you what else this thing does. All right, so you can also bend it over like this. So it's amazing for taking Instagram photos. Like, look at how it lights up this white background so nicely. So what I do is I just clip my cell phone right into this little thing right here and then shoot downward. I also use this to take all of my video for my Sunday hauls, like when I'm opening a box and I just want to show basically what I'm doing. I use this little piece of white foam board on the table just as a nice crisp white background, and then that is basically it. So it's really easy, simple setup, but it does an amazing job. And I just wanted to show you quickly this little table that I got from Target, and that's basically what I use as a little desk right now. It was really inexpensive. And then I just have this little stool that I sit on. I got it Home Goods. So just a really easy, quick, and simple setup, not too complicated at all. It works out really well for me so far. And then I also get a lot of questions about what's in the background. So the desk is from IKEA, this desk right here, and also this tower is from IKEA. I think a lot of beauty vloggers have those. And then these little bins down here are what I keep some of my eyeshadow palettes in. Those are from Target. I also have this little shelving unit in the back right there that's from Michaels, and I keep nail polish in that one. The brush holder up there I got on Amazon. It was really inexpensive, like $16 or something, so I will link that down below as well. And then in these crates down here are just products that have come in that I still need to review. Some of them have products that I want to do giveaways and things like that, so I just kind of keep those along the wall just to keep the room a little bit neater and not have like everything all over the floor. So yeah, that's my entire setup. Pretty simple and quick and easy. Okay, so next question is about PR, and that says, when did the first PR packages arrive? How did you qualify for PR? It seems like a lot of YouTubers claim that something just showed up in the mail, but how did the company get their address? All right, so that's actually a really good question. I started getting PR when I had my blog, but it was several years after I started it. I want to say probably around year 5 or 6. It was 2013 because I had just had my son. He was a baby, and It Cosmetics actually reached out to me and asked me if they could send me some products to review on my blog, and I was like blown away by that, and I was just so grateful that a huge company like that was willing to send PR to me. I was just like a small little blogger. I wasn't even a YouTuber at the time, so I was just so super excited, and I still to this day get so excited when a company wants to send me PR. It's just like, I don't know, I get so excited over it. I know some people get kind of blasé after a while, but I am always grateful for every single thing that I get sent. Anyway, I would say that the main way that I get PR is from my Instagram, because I have a large following over there. Like I said earlier, I have 152,000 followers, I believe. I would say like 80% of the time when companies send me PR, they're referring to my Instagram page. And some companies will say, you know, I saw you on YouTube, but most of the time when they email me, it's about my Instagram still, and that's totally fine. I think in general, you need to have more of a large following to get on a PR list, but not always. I know some companies like Anastasia Beverly Hills, for example, they're really famous for sending products to smaller influencers, especially on Instagram. So I would say it's not always about the following, it's also about engagement. Some people have really high numbers of followers, but then not a lot of comments or likes on a post, or, you know, not a lot of views on their YouTube videos, let's say. So I think companies are more wary of that. They want to see that engagement. And if you're a smaller influencer, but you have a ton of engagement and people are constantly commenting and liking your stuff, companies do take notice of that. But sometimes I get people who are like, well, I started my Instagram page last week, and how do I get companies to send me stuff? And I'm like, it's gonna take a while. It was at least like 4 to 5 years of me blogging steadily before I got anything. So, you know, sometimes that happens quicker for people, and certainly when I started my Instagram page, I started getting PR like pretty early on. Like I would say after the first year or so. It didn't take as long as it did to get it from blogging, but still, you have to really put in that effort and really build up your brand and your following before, you know, anybody's gonna send you anything, because it's you have to look at it like a business transaction. They want to send you products so that you can show them to your audience, and if you have like 10 people following you, it's not going to be worth the money for them to send you a PR package. They want to make sure it's getting out to a bunch of people, and they want to make sure that the people who are watching you or following you on Instagram, let's say, that you actually seem to have like an influence, and that people listen to you or people take your recommendations. They want to see all of that. So you really have to, you know, work at it a while. They're not going to just send it to you because you started something a month ago or whatever. So it sucks, and it does take a really long time of posting, and it feels like it's never going to go anywhere, but it does. You just have to keep at it and keep at it. And I almost quit a bunch of times because I felt like my blog was never going to go anywhere, my Instagram was never going to go anywhere. But it does happen if you really just work at it and be consistent about it. And, you know, it is frustrating. I know a lot of people, like, they want to see the money coming in right away. They want to see the PR coming in right away, but it's just all about patience and persistence for sure. And as far as YouTubers that claim something like just showed up in the mail, that has happened to me a few times. I think that usually happens because it's a PR firm that sent something to me versus the actual brand. So many times it's somebody from an actual brand that's contacting me via email, and they'll say, you know, hey, can we have your address so we can send you something? And I'll give them my address, and then I kind of know that somewhere along the line they're going to send me something. But a lot of times a PR firm will contact me and say, hey, can we send you something from, I don't know, let's say like Urban Decay, right? And then I get something from Urban Decay from that PR firm. But that PR firm might also represent a bunch of other makeup brands as well. So then I might get something from, let's say, L'Oreal. So then all of a sudden one day in the mail, I might get something from L'Oreal, and I'm like, I didn't know I was on L'Oreal's PR list, but then I realized it was sent from that same PR firm that also represents like Urban Decay. And I'm just saying this as an example, not saying that that's exactly what happened, but, you know, just throwing brand names out there randomly. So I think sometimes when something comes as a surprise, it's probably because it's from that PR firm that has your address and they represent many different brands. So you're not actually on like that brand's PR list, you're on a list with a firm that represents a whole bunch of different brands. So the few times that that's happened to me, that's kind of how I put it together, where I'm like, oh, okay, this was actually sent by a PR firm, not the brand directly. So that's usually why that happens. All right, so next up, what do you use to edit videos and how difficult is it? I would say, yeah, editing, it was probably the hardest thing for me to tackle because I have no experience with editing at all. Editing was the hardest thing for me to learn. I use Wondershare Filmora, which is, I would say, a step up from using the Windows version, like the Movie Maker, I think it's called. I was using that in the beginning. It doesn't have a lot of different features though. So I found Wondershare Filmora to be kind of in between. It's really, really user friendly, but it's not as hard as using the Adobe one. I forget what that one's called, but oh my God, I downloaded that and it was like, I have no idea what to do. It looked so foreign to me, and I tried to like do tutorials and learn how to do it, and I just couldn't. I'm not that tech savvy. The Filmora one is just way easier to use, and it didn't have a steep learning curve, so I really do enjoy that one, and I think it has a lot of really nice features. But I did start out with the Windows Movie Maker. I don't have an Apple computer, but I know Apple has a very similar like built-in one. I think it's called iMovie or something. So that one is also supposedly like pretty easy to use and pretty intuitive. But yeah, I started out with the Windows Movie Maker, and really all that one will do is like make cuts in the video where, you know, you want to edit out a certain part or whatever, you can do that. It really doesn't do too much more than that. But Filmora, you can kind of like brighten the scene if you need to. You can do kind of some color correction. There's a few extras that it'll do. So that's the one that I use. I can leave it linked down in the description box below. But I would say editing is by far the longest and most labor intensive part of this job. Filming the video is the fun part, and then editing is the part that I absolutely hate, because you're just going through the video painstakingly, and I make so many mistakes when I'm talking, and I like fumble over my words, and then I have to stop and then do it again, and just editing all of that stuff out takes forever. Like, it takes me hours to edit a video, so I really have to just set aside that time, mainly at night, to do that. And yeah, it's not fun. I keep working on like trying to improve the flow of my speech and trying not to make so many mistakes when I talk, so that I don't have to edit out so much. But yeah, it hasn't happened yet. Even like a year and a half later, I still make just as many mistakes as I do. So you'll see all these like cuts in my video, and that's why. All right, so I just have time to answer like one or two more questions, because I feel like this video is getting so super long. So the next one is, what can a subscriber do to optimize support? Does it matter if we rewatch a video? That is just like the nicest question ever. I feel like nobody ever asks that. So yeah, of course, rewatching a video will give us an extra view, and I think the more views a video gets, especially right off the bat when it's first posted, YouTube will promote that video more. So I think watching a video as soon as it comes out will really help to make that video more popular. Also, obviously, watching the ads, you don't have to watch them. You can skip them if you want to. We still do get paid a little bit if you skip them, so it's not really that big a deal. But I know a lot of people will say, like in the comments, I watch all your ads for you all the time, which again, it's just so sweet, because I know, you know, when you want to get to the video, watching an ad can be like really boring and tedious. So I always think that's really super sweet. Another thing you can do is hit the thumbs up button, and also make a comment on a video, because all of that stuff counts towards engagement, and YouTube takes all of that into account when they decide whether or not to promote a video. So that'll help make a video become more popular. They'll put it more at the top of the search results if it has more engagement than others, even if it doesn't have quite as many views. So I think engagement is really important to YouTube. They look at it more as a whole. You know, they're not looking at just whether a video is getting a lot of views, because remember, those like clickbait ones, for example, they're not necessarily the best videos. They're not the ones that YouTube is going to want to promote, because a lot of people don't like them and they click out really quickly. So YouTube looks at how long a video is watched for. So if you watch a video from beginning to end, they look at that. That really weighs heavily. Also, how many comments it has, how many thumbs up, or even thumbs down will also count towards engagement. So a thumbs down isn't necessarily a bad thing for a YouTuber. It lets us know that you didn't like the video, but it also helps count towards that engagement, which is really, really important. So we want YouTube to show our video to more and more people. That way you get more views. So in the end, I would say those are the most important things. Watch a video all the way through if you can. Even if you're not really watching it, just let it play. That helps us out a lot. And also clicking the thumbs up or thumbs down button and commenting. All of that stuff really adds up. And then the last question would be, how do you maintain work-life balance as a YouTuber? That one is really hard, and I think that's something that I'm still struggling with a lot, is how to, spend as much time as I can with my family and also try to grow my channel, because this is like kind of starting a business in a way. It's almost like an entrepreneurial thing where you really spend a lot of time creating and then promoting, and it's a 24/7 job too. So I'm still doing this on the weekends. I'm still doing this at night. I do it probably more than 8 hours a day. I think I work at this more than I did at my previous job, just because it's nonstop. I mean, yes, I don't have to go into an office every day, but I'm constantly on my phone answering questions, responding to comments. This is in addition to all the filming and editing, which also takes hours out of every day. But even on the days when I'm not doing that, I'm promoting videos, I'm on Instagram doing Instagram stuff, I'm responding to emails, responding to comments. It's a lot, and it's constant all the time. So it's really been hard, I think, to unplug from that sometimes. And I really tried to do that on my trip to Florida last week, to just give it a complete break. And, it was kind of heartbreaking in a way, because when we got back, my son was like, "Oh, you're going to have to start working again now," and I was like, he really just loved like all the attention from us all the time. And, now it's kind of back to reality with that. So it is, I do have to just like say, I'm going to put my phone down and just go play with him and not constantly be looking at it in between. And that's something that I really, I need to make a conscious effort to do, because when you're trying to grow your channel and you have that momentum going, it's like I get tunnel vision and I just want to focus on growing the channel all the time. So, I don't want to do that, and I'm really making a conscious effort not to do that and not to be one of those people that's just glued to my phone all the time. And also, that's one reason why I don't show my personal life and my family life, in addition to just wanting privacy. I mean, I know it works for some people, and I'm glad that it does, but for me, it's a personal decision. I just don't want all of those, family times to be also about this. Like, I want to just keep them completely separate and just treat this as a job and as a business. So I think keeping that mindset, hopefully, and just not dragging my family into this is just the main way that I keep the work-life balance as much as possible. All right, guys, so that's it for this video. I have no idea how long this is going to be. Hopefully it's not too long and you guys have a chance to watch it, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button or a thumbs down, and also let me know in the comments below if you have any other questions. I would love to hear from you guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!